Coming up, the nation's chief addresses the Baha Mar issue.
Jurors hearing from just one witness in the Donna Vasily murder trial. We have all those details, so stay tuned.
And a man gunned down in the Mount Royal Avenue area this morning.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Every Day.
Government reassessing its role in the Baha Mar situation. Good evening, everyone. I'm Charisma Robinson.
And I'm Chris Saunders. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Perry Christie, says the government has stepped aside in the Baha Mar matter and has redefined its role. They're making room for those responsible and appointed by the courts to bring resolution to the issue. Mr. Christie addressed the issue with our news team while the tourism minister discussed whether there's any additional fallout with brands. That story tonight from Clint Watson.
We really want this project to succeed, and by succeed we mean to be opened in the shortest possible time, whether by the developer or by the provisional liquidator.
Now that the courts have appointed joint provisional liquidators to oversee the affairs of Baha Mar, ensuring the company is not dissipated, Prime Minister the Right Honorable Perry Christie says the government remains committed to the resumption of construction, early completion of the resort, and the hiring of the people the property intended to hire.
We are therefore now watching the process going on in Delaware, watching for the outcome there. We are watching the process of the liquidator in the Bahamas, and quite frankly, now that the court has placed it in the hands of the liquidator, we are relying on the liquidator to take whatever steps that can be taken at this stage to effect a commitment to finish the property, to complete the construction on the property, and to have the property open in the shortest possible time.
Prime Minister Perry Christie says the government has removed itself from the process completely and only serves to respond when needed.
The court said to them, if you need to consult me, then you consult me. But this is being done under the supervision of the liquidators themselves, being able to go to the court for the requisite permissions they may need moving forward. We are working diligently to make this happen. To the extent that the government will be involved, we will lend our help in whatever form that is permissible to ensure that the progress keeps on moving forward.
Tourism Minister the Honorable Obi Wolscombe says the country has a lot to be proud of despite the setbacks. He says since the intent of Rosewood brand to pull out, there has been no other fallout.
In fact, I think we've had more interest. Everyone sees it as an opportunity, and you would appreciate, again, the Bahamas, the proximity of the Bahamas, the tourism industry of the Bahamas, the success of the Bahamas, all add up to encourage people to come and not to want to push themselves away or stay away. So more people are interested in our country today, and that's all over the Bahamas. And we're not only talking about the capital city.
Clint Watson, ZNS Network News.
Investigations continue into that double homicide in Grand Bahama, where a husband and his wife were found dead yesterday. Barry Johnson, an employee of the Freeport Container Port, and his wife Sheena Johnson, senior mistress at 8 Mile Rock High School, were killed at their home in Holmes Rock. Police say both were shot to the head. Neighbors describe the couple as well-loved and respected, saying it is a sad day for Grand Bahama. Authorities are appealing for your help in solving what has been described as a senseless killing.
Back here in the capital, the country's murder count has increased once again. This latest incident taking detectives to the Palmdale area. It was there that they would begin their preliminary investigations into the shooting death of a young man. Carla Palmer reports tonight, but we must warn you, some of the video in this story is graphic.
22-year-old Brian Francis II has been classified as Murder 106 by authorities. The incident taking place this Monday morning during the early commute on busy Mount Royal Avenue, resulting in traffic diversion in both directions, north and south. With as many as 10 shell casings lining the street, police also escorted children to a nearby nursery in an effort to preserve the crime scene. Central Detective Unit Chief Paul Roll described the scene.
Upon arrival, they met an adult male suffering from gunshot injuries. EMS was summoned here to the scene and pronounced the male lifeless.
By this time, relatives were already on scene. Visibly upset, they declined comment. The CDU chief confirmed that the incident occurred shortly after 8 a.m. He says the victim was shot as he was driving his vehicle.
The male was driving his vehicle at the time when accosted by some assailants who did the shooting.
According to Roll, after being shot several times, young Francis tried to get away from his assailants. He would not get too far, however, as he would reportedly drive off of Mount Royal Avenue onto Durham Road, where he would crash his gray Nissan Tiana into a wall. Police believe the assailants, 2 suspects, were driving a silver Honda Inspire at the time.
We appeal to persons who would have any information regards with this latest homicide to come forward and provide that information for the police and help us to advance this investigation.
Francis became the 4th person to be shot and killed this weekend here in New Providence alone. Rhodes says progress is being made into all of these matters.
We're following some significant leads in all of them, actually. The McCullough Corner, Pinewood Gardens, and the Shady Tree Street murders. We're following significant lead.
Carla Palmer, ZNS Network News.
The high-profile murder trial of Donna Vasily continues. She's accused of killing her husband, podiatrist Philip Vasily, several months ago. Jimena Swain was in court and tells us about the photos taken of Vasily and bruises to her hands.
The murder trial of Donna Vasily resumed Monday afternoon before Acting Chief Justice Stephen Isaacs. The jury heard from one witness, Police Sergeant Esther Miller, who is attached to the Crime Scene Investigation Section of the Central Detective Unit. Leading her questioning was Acting Director of Public Prosecutions Gavin Gaskin. Miller told the court on the morning of March 24th she was on duty and received certain information that led to her photographing 2 women, one Caucasian, the other dark-skinned. The witness identified the Caucasian woman as Donna Vasily, indicating that she photographed a facial view, side profile, a full view which showed what Vasily wore, and a close-up of her hands, which she said appeared to have bruises. Vasily was photographed in a white robe with a blue dress and pink slippers. Sergeant Miller said the photos were transferred to a disc and later printed. Sergeant Miller said the robe and blue dress were also taken to forensics for further analysis. The photos were distributed to jurors in court. Gaskin asked the witness if she made any other observations of Vasily, to which defense attorney Muriel Ducille objected, referring to the police statement. There was some back and forth between Ducille and Gaskin before the acting Chief Justice intervened, indicating that he prohibited Gaskin from asking any further questions, stating, quote, "You are banned." When Gaskin asked why, the acting Chief Justice told him because there is no trial by ambush. Under cross-examination by Ducille, he suggested to the witness that Vasily's right hand appeared to have 6 lines. She agreed. He also asked if the left hand had similar markings. She agreed that it did. Ducille followed up with the suggestion that Vasily had had laser treatment, which she received from a doctor, and the markings were laser burns. Miller could not say whether Vasily received the injuries, but she agreed that they were symmetrical. She also accepted the injuries could have been from laser treatments. Throughout the afternoon session, Vasily appeared to be listening intently, and from time to time she would twirl her hair in the prisoner's dock. Once court was done, Vasily, who is on $200,000 bail and sporting an electronic monitoring device, was escorted by police to a waiting jeep. The trial is expected to continue Tuesday morning at 11 a.m. in the Supreme Court. Jimena Swain, ZNS Network News.
This segment of the news is brought to you by Platinum Bride Couture, downtown Nassau on Parliament Street. Begin your happily ever after at Platinum Bride Couture.